Hello everybody, if I'm live then I'm live. So you know I'm going to get out of here. And hi. As you can tell, this is my first live on YouTube. It's wonky, it's badly explained, the lighting isn't great, and I'm just experiencing the slight difference between my normal video and the YouTube video and what's going to happen with that. So, and my creaky chair. But I like my creaky chair because it's real. Well, we're here. If nothing else, we're here, which is the most important thing. I've been trying to figure out chat, but I don't know how it works. So I'm just going to stick with this nice and easy. And if something pops up, then something pops up. Okay? Now, I've been meaning to do a problem page for a little while. And what... It's like most of those things, you know, you think, yes, I really want to do this, I really want to do this. And then something holds you back. And actually, in this case, something holding me back was quite good, because when I started thinking about doing a live stream, I thought, oh yes, that problem page that I want to do, I think that's actually a really nice thing to do live. And you know, once I figure out this chat thing, if anybody has any questions, then I can do a live problem page. But in the meantime, I thought, look, let me get started. One of the great YouTube teachers online, he says this thing, which is really that, you know, most of the problems are about getting started, doing the first one. And I've definitely found that with pretty much everything that I've done in life. So I thought, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just start. There's a great quote that they have from the Camino de Santiago, which is, don't forget to start. And that's what often happens when we get stuck on all these other kind of things. And this is me just doing a really great big excuse for why this is a bit shonky. And I hope you're okay with that. So, but yeah, I'm just going to do a little live, little test. We'll see how it goes. I love your questions. And my favourite thing when I go out and I do talks and I do trainings is the Q&A, you know, because I love the fact that people ask questions that they didn't know they had before they came into the talk, before they came into the training. And what I love is that with the training, whether we're live or on a Zoom, we create this really safe space. And so people allow themselves to question, allow themselves those questions to come up, knowing that they're in a safe space and that the answers will be there. Or even if the answers that aren't there, if I don't have the answers, they're not going to be left so vulnerable. You know, they'll be reassured that if I don't have the answers, it's because it's a very tricky question. Or maybe because really the answer is within and it's something that they need to find for themselves. That's often the way with the kind of work that I do. Because I always say, even though I work on fear of success, it's not my job to tell you what success should look like for you. Because everybody's authentic success can be different. Okay, so let me just get into this question. This was a question that was asked at a training I did a little while ago, and this is the kind of question I love because it came from very, very deep within. And the person asked, and they had experienced a lot of trauma, a lot of problems when they were younger, and they said they weren't sure if they had developed self-love and compassion because of all the trauma at a young age. And I thought that was such a brilliant question and such a brave question. And I was very honoured that somebody would ask that of me. And what I said to them, you know, and this is the thing in spirituality, we often have this idea of you have to learn to love yourself, or if you don't love yourself, or this kind of thing. And when we say things like that, or we set things up in a certain way, what we're really doing is kind of saying it's possible for you not to love yourself. And in my experience and everything I've learned, that's not true. Because we have this deep, unconditional love for ourselves and for everyone in the world. And when we explore and we go on these great spiritual trainings, that becomes so clear and so obvious. We realise that we are so loved and we are so loving, and it's all right there inside of us. But one of the things I said to this person at the time was also, I know that you have that self-love and compassion because you're here, because you've brought yourself to the training, because you're doing something to help yourself to move forward. So anybody, if you don't believe what I say about unconditional love, believe that you have taken steps to look after yourself, to make money, to eat healthily, to exercise. All is an act of love. That is unconditional love in action. Every time we do something wonderful for ourselves, another teacher of mine calls it, every time we do something wonderful for ourselves, whether it's brushing our teeth or putting on sunscreen, anything like that, we can call it what you would call it in India, which is doing a puja for your body. So we're doing a ritual, something beautiful to take care of ourselves. So every time we do that, we're showing, we're expressing that love. But that love is within us. And what I've learned is that we have more problems because we are pushing that love down. You know, we're pretending that we don't love ourselves. We're pretending that we don't love other people. So what we really need to do is to unlearn how not to love ourselves. And what I mean by that is we get taught at a young age what we should do, what is self-respect, what is self-love, what do we have to do. So for example, we have people who teach us, you have to eat this and you have to do this and you have to that. And sometimes those things aren't right for us. You know, you have to go and get this education, this degree, you have to read books, you can't watch television, you have to do this, or you know, anything that we're taught that's not authentic for us. So all the time we're practicing not loving ourselves. We're practicing loving somebody we're pretending to be. You know, if we say we like a particular film, or we say we like a particular food because it's what everybody else does, we're not actually acting loving towards ourselves. So it's when we accept ourselves and we know who we are, and we know in our heart, when we start listening to the heart instead of everything else around us, it's very easy to love ourselves. It's very easy to know what I want, what I need, what is good for me. And if I get confused, I can start again. Let's try things out. Be fresh, be awake again. Okay? So that is the first question that I was asked. And I wanted to share that, and I think that's quite a helpful one because of a lot of the things that I hear. And I thought that beautiful question was so really cutting to the heart of things. So while I'm here, I thought, you know what, I'm still on my own in here. Nobody's joined me. So it's okay. That's okay. It's just all a work in progress. We often like to use that word for us, that expression for ourselves. I think there's a lot of that at the moment, where people say, you know, I'm a work in progress. And I sort of think, yeah, but we're also perfect just as we are. You know? And I've actually just released an audio book, which is the Camino de la Luna Unconditional Love. And you know, I really love that book because it's about coming to a moment. It's quite a long story about coming to a moment of understanding that unconditional love for other people. Whereas the first book, Take What You Need, is, I guess it's really about learning that unconditional love for ourselves. And that's really what Take What You Need is about. Because when we take less than we need, it doesn't make us feel good. When we take more than we need, it makes us sick, you know, when we overconsume. So taking just what we need is a practice of unconditional love and accepting who we are. And it's funny because I hadn't really thought about it in exactly those terms until talking to you guys. So that's our problem one, and I like to share that. And the second one I wanted to share was there was another question that came up in another training, another talk, and actually this one you can watch that question. You know, it's on the Osmic talk that I did, so you can actually see that Q&A there. But I wanted to just touch on one of those things because obviously you might not want to go in there and see the whole thing. And again, it was somebody who asked a really beautiful question, which was they had had a very profound physical healing and they were finding it really hard to let go of that. Okay. And I've written a book about, healing, and a lot of where I started was about going and having massages and having different body treatments and things like that. And those can be extremely healing for the body. And in fact, a lot of them go back thousands of years, where we've done this to heal ourselves for many, many years. That power of touch and energy and all the good things, and just be feeling really taken care of. And I had what I would call my awakening in a spa in Arizona. It was Aji Spa, which is a Native American spa, and I had a Native American healing. And the woman that did it had a special dispensation to provide that treatment to people outside the tribes. And it was a long treatment. It was very profound, and in the massage, I really woke up. And I had been experiencing a lot on that journey, but I really woke up. And I think talking to this woman before, it gave me permission just to be me, just to be who I am. And in the awakening, that's who I was. And I woke up to all the things, where I've been telling myself, oh, I'm happy, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. And suddenly I woke up to all the lies I've been telling myself. Funnily enough, I think the next day I went to Arizona, where this cup is from. So it comes with me still. That was about 7 years ago, but I still got the mug. Didn't get a t-shirt. Anyway, so in that healing, what was really great is she understood what was happening for me because she was a professional. She had seen this before. In fact, the people in the spa knew. And afterwards, I was sitting there and I was crying my eyes out. And it was an amazing spa. It has, like in the relaxation area, it has a big old fire. So I was just sitting. I was either sitting on a lounge on the sofa, looking at the fire, or I was in the pool, or I was sitting on the earth. It was a very elemental spa. And I remember sitting there and I was just a mess. I was crying. It was terrible. That's what healing can do for us. It just releases all this stuff. And when that happened, somebody came up, one of the receptionists or people who worked there came up and said, how are you feeling? Are you okay? And I said, I'm destroyed. And she went, yeah, that'll do it. And that's what a lot of healing is about. It's like destroying the person that we think we are and allowing us to be true to who we truly are. And so that really started me questioning everything, not just who I am, but questioning everything I thought about myself. Am I really happy doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? And really allowing myself to listen to my heart, to my soul. It's always there, the heart, our soul is always telling us, yes, no, yes, and we ignore it, we push it away because, hey, some teacher told me this, so I must be right, and I'm going to ignore my own inner wisdom, which is kind of stupid, really. It's like our own fire alarm is going off and we're ignoring it because somebody else is going, no, keep calm and do some meditation while the fire alarm's going on. You're like, no, my heart, my soul is saying, get out of here. This isn't right for you. This is dangerous. Go away. Get out. But back then, the Belen, who was my teacher, who was my massage therapist, called shaman back then, said, that's what she said. She said a lot of things about the healing, and I've written a whole book about it, and it's in the big book of healing as well. And it's in a book about Phoenix, Arizona, if you want to read the whole thing. But what she said was, she said, you are reprogramming every cell in your body. And that takes time. When we have a profound physical healing, because we are mind, body and spirit, because we are holistic and we're all connected, we're actually healing everything. So we can't have a physical healing without also healing the soul, without also healing the mind, because we're all connected. You know, tell me I've had eczema recently, and that'll get your mind going as well. It's not just a physical thing. It will all work together to give you a hard time. When we heal everything, which is really wonderful. Anyway, so it takes time to reprogram every cell of your body. It takes time to adapt. When we wake up and we say, oh my gosh, this is not my life, I'm living somebody else's life. And I remember when I came home, I came back to England, and I walked in the door of my flat, and I walked in and I thought, uh-oh, I'm going to have to be really careful, because this is where all of my habits live. And it's so easy to kind of go back to our home and go back to the lie, go back to what we were doing. And so I tried very, very hard to not do that. I threw away my television. I stopped watching lots of programs because I thought, you know what? That stuff is all keeping me in this kind of standard mindset of like, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to have this kind of life. That, you know, it's all kind of brainwashing me. And now I'm free and I'm awake, and I don't want to go back to that. And about 6 months after that, I sold my house and I went traveling. And I realized when I went traveling and I went on the Camino de Santiago, so many of those habits had kind of crept back in again. And I had to sort of have like another mini awakening where I let go of pride again. I let go of the idea that, you know, I'm better than anybody else, or I have to you know, do the Camino de Santiago in this many months or weeks, or I have to be better than everybody else, or I have to do something amazing. And I really came back to that thing of, you know, I have nothing to prove. I really have nothing to prove. And that was very important for me, because pride is one of those things, one of those traps I really fall into very easily. And maybe that's why the universe is kind of being very kind to me, in that I only get the amount of, say, business or financial success that keeps me going. Not so much that I get full of myself and my ego comes in again. So life is very good to me by stopping me from getting caught up in things that are just not good for me and not right for me. Staying in the take what you need space. Having a lovely, simple life. But if you've experienced a healing, and it is something that goes on for a really long time. You know, it can take years for us to really allow in all that healing. But when we experience something big, obviously it's very challenging sometimes, because when we experience a healing, it doesn't just say, hey, you're better and everything's okay. We experience a healing that says, yeah, it hurts. And this hurts because it's not right for you. And this hurts because when you eat this, when you do that, you're hurting yourself. So you've got to stop doing that. You know, a healing isn't about, you know, getting over a hangover. It's getting over a hangover and realizing that I was hungover in the first place. And what we have to do to stop that happening over and over again. I think I've answered some really complicated questions. Maybe next time we'll do easier questions. It's not that I can't explain these deep questions, these profound questions. But the only way really I can do it this way, you know, is through words. And what I mean by one word, you can experience and hear or read as a different word. So we're very limited in our communication, which is why it's wonderful when we go out and we do things together in nature. Wonderful when I teach through dance, because sometimes when we teach without words, like doing something like mindful walking, you know, where we do something together without words, we communicate so much better. And sometimes with a massage, you know, that healing that I had experienced there was all done with touch, not with words. And there's a million ways to heal. 500 in my book, but there's probably a million out there. Sometimes the very best thing we can do for healing is just to get out and have a walk in nature and explore life. And we never know what are the things that are going to really have a big effect on us. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I know there's nobody in the room, but I'm going to be putting this out so people can watch this back. And it's the beginning of my problem page, which I'm really happy to have started. First live, happy to have started. And I'm very excited to see where this goes. Thank you so much. Take it easy, and I'll see you very soon.